Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. This is Kana, you're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your identity to the masses out there?
Um, right? Oh, it's time to talk now?
Yes!
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Um, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's been a while since anybody's heard me, so I'm sorry if I sound a little embarrassed.
Oh, well, that's okay. You sound absolutely adorable.
Oh, thanks. So, um, yeah. Um, you had some questions for me?
Yeah, I do. Do you want to tell them your real persona, just in case?
Yeah, okay. So this is Steve Prince, or Derek Stephen Prince, depending on who you are.
And that was so cute. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen
Uh,
that show since I was a little kid either, so that brought back a lot of
See,
memories.
and just the mere, you know, couple of brief moments that we had there, you knew exactly who I was.
Definitely. And now let's start at the very beginning. Actually, let's go back to when you were in diapers. What
Right. Okay. The very first start. All right.
what
Well, I
what
know that when we sing, we begin with ABC. No, we're not going back that far. Okay.
No, not that far, but maybe
All right.
that far
All right.
depending on when you began to have an aspiration for acting. How did that develop?
Okay. Good question. I actually started acting when I was about, gosh, 7 or 8 years old. Okay, uh, one fact that is not well known, but now everybody who is listening to this will know it, and it'll be your one coup d'état as far as knowing something that other fans don't know about me. I actually wrote a play when I was in elementary school, um, and it was based on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I was Rudolph, of course, and performed it at my elementary school, which is was 32nd Street Magnet, which is right across the street from USC.
Wonderful. So you
Yeah.
actually you weren't in diapers or pull-ups, maybe overalls. I think that's usually what you wear to that age and like light up shoes.
Yeah,
And now, did you ever think that you were going to pursue a career in this sort of field?
absolutely, all the time. And I actually was in a couple of shows when I was a kid. Not a very well-known show, but 240 Robert, which starred Mark Harmon. Um, I was in that, and I was in a commercial here and there. And then, you know, created more of my craft through various stage children's theater up in Saugus High School, not Saugus High School, actually near Saugus High School, a troupe that no longer exists anymore, unfortunately. But did a bunch of children's theater there, learned how to do mime, and then from there, just kept on keeping on, I guess, as far as theater goes, and did a whole bunch of theater when I went to high school and finished up my elementary school on Maui, Hawaii, and from there went to Carnegie Mellon University, where I graduated with a BFA in musical theater.
Well, I have to say you must be a hit at parties because you can pretend you're locked in a box.
I'm sorry, if what?
You must be a hit at parties because you can pretend that you're locked in a box.
Locked in the box, absolutely. Yep.
And now, how did you get involved with voice acting?
Purely by coincidence. It's not even something that I'd even intended to do. Um, After I graduated from Carnegie Mellon, I went to New York for a couple of years, did various touring companies and theater. And one of the touring companies that I was with, we had a break during Christmas. I was getting kind of tired of the travel life, it's not really my thing. And so I came back out here to California where my dad was, and then realized that, you know what, I really don't want to be doing theater anymore. I want to just try and make a break for it out here. And got in touch with a bunch of um, people who had graduated from Carnegie at some point in time. We've got a great uh, uh, alumni chapter out here in Los Angeles, and one of the contacts that I had made was with Charlie Hayes, who, if you don't know the name, then it doesn't matter what I mentioned that he was in; it's not going to mean anything to you. But he did a lot of work back in the '80s, but did a lot of directing, um, especially with ER, and was actually part of the reason why I actually got on that show when it was on the air, and also did a couple of episodes of Saved by the Bell, and various other things that were just like incidental stuff, and thought this is cool. You know, I can get a living doing some on-camera stuff, and of course, as everything in the industry, it ebbs and tides, and so the ebb flowed away for a little bit, and it was hitting a dry spell, and so I took a class over at SAG Conservatory where Bob Bergen, who is the voice of Porky Pig and Tweety Bird, he took over from Mel Blanc after Mel Blanc died, and he was teaching a class on voiceovers, and I thought, well, you know, I'll see what this is all about. And I was probably one of the few people who, because I actually knew what the heck I was doing, he stopped me after the class and said, hey, you know, where's your demo? And I, of course, coming from the film and theater background, knew nothing what he was talking about. And so, you know, had total egg on my face, but said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he said, oh, what do you mean? You know, like, haven't you been doing this for a while? And I go, no, actually I haven't. This is like the first time that I've actually done, you know, a voiceover class. And he goes, wow. He goes, that, you know, you definitely show a lot of promise if you know, hone your craft and take a bunch of classes and try and, you know, just meet as many people that are in the industry who are teaching as possible, then I'm sure that you'll probably be able to do something with it. And lo and behold, you know, a lot of it had to do with me seeing the ability that I was able to do, since I wasn't being judged by my features, you know, physically speaking. I was just being judged by my voice, and started perfecting that and honing that. And I'd always, I guess, in a way, kind of done voices, like, just to myself, so people always thought I was kind of crazy. Because what I would often do is pretend like I was all the characters, like in a comic book. Like, I was really into comic books when I was growing up in high school. And so I would sometimes just pretend like I was all the people. And one of the things that I would do is, you know, just kind of pretend as I was, you know, part of the people more after high school than when I was in high school, because it was more of like a class that I did with myself, which was, if I recorded myself and I could detect like the same voice or a similar voice to the one that I had done in a previous part of the comic book, then I have to start the comic book all over again and redo it until I could recognize that one character was exactly the same like another one. So it really helped me later on, I think, because especially when I was doing auditions and people would ask, okay, well, that's great, well, what else can you do? And then I'd just be able to just pull something right out of my hat, so to speak. And so I think that kind of helped me out later on, especially with the first job that I got, which was for Power Rangers. So
Well, very nice. And I'm sure taking that class and having a teacher like that, approach you that way must have been a really big confidence boost as well.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. Bob's a great guy to this day. I sometimes will ask him questions, you know, and he's really responsive and was a great beginning mentor for me, so to speak.
And so once you were propelled into the world of voiceover, uh, did were you kind of I guess awakened to anime? I'll use that word because that sounds epic. Because not many people at the time really knew what anime was.
Yeah, I didn't know what the heck it was either. You know, I mean, I only got into it because when I was doing Power Rangers, which is all dubbing anyway, for the live action characters that are on there. Um, just through that, I kind of got propelled into doing anime because some of the directors that were on there, like Michael Sorich and Kirk Thornton and Wendy Lee, they all recognized the type of talent that I was, and when projects came up that they were responsible for directing, they said, "Hey, remember me? I directed you on a couple episodes of Power Rangers, and was wondering if you'd be interested in doing this or auditioning for that." And that's kind of how it really all got started. And very incestuous as it might be, I'm extremely thankful that I was able to kind of hold court, so to speak, with those people because, like nowadays, if a project comes up, I'm extremely grateful that I'm in a position where people already know who I am. And it's like if a project comes up where they think that I might be able to play a certain character, they'll just say, "Hey, Steve, there's a role that I think you might be really right for. Do you just want it?"
Well, that's
It's
always
like
nice.
not even having to audition for it. It's just like, "Hey, I've got a project. Do you want to do it?" And I'm going, "Oh, wow, okay, cool, yeah, sure." So, yeah,
Hey, that puts food on the table.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And now I think both the fans and my producer will probably attack me with pitchforks if I don't mention Digimon, because that's a show that
Okay,
many of us know from our childhood. But can you
yep.
explain how you became essentially half the cast of Digimon in the first three seasons? Actually, no, I think it's first
you
four.
know, now, interesting story on the Digimon stuff. That is one of those things that even though I knew the people that were responsible for doing it and producing it and directing it, that's one of those things that I had to audition for. Didn't have a choice. They didn't offer me anything. And I was still relatively new at that particular stage of my career, so, nobody was going to offer me anything at that point anyway. But the producers back in Japan, I guess, because they were at least 3/4 of the percent responsible for who got cast here in America. They just liked some of the stuff that I did. I mean, and I think the first two characters that I did in season one were Piedmon and Digitamamon, and I just kind of pulled out of my bag of tricks as far as characters that I thought might be fun to play, stuff that I had always wanted to do that I never had an opportunity to do before. I don't know how many people out there. I'm sure there's probably quite a handful of people that have seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, but basically Piedmon was based on Frankenfurter.
I'm
You
sure
know,
some of the fans will like to hear that.
as well as Digitalmamon. I don't know how many people out there watch old movies, and I'm talking like old movies, like back from like the 30s and 40s and 50s. But Peter Lorre, who is a very viable, live action actor at that point in time, he did a lot of character stuff and had a very distinct voice. Digitalmamon is basically Peter Lorre. I mean, and just pulled from that, and they liked it, and I guess it was unique enough that, and based on what I had growing up as a kid, a lot of the people that I kind of mimicked, I guess would be the proper word to use as far as some of the celebrities, were all based off of old people, not old people, but like characters from movies and stuff. And so I just kind of used part of that, and I guess to my advantage, nobody else had really thought about that and done it, and so they kind of went with that, and from there, it kind of helped me at least become more established in that series but every single series that, I mean, every single season that they did something, I had to audition for it. They didn't just say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Um, so, I mean, I'm extremely proud of that entire series, only because with all 4 seasons that they did, I managed, thankfully, to get a role in each one of those seasons. But you know, a lot of it just had to do with my efforts as an actor and what I was able to put out there, and just being recognized for it.
And now Digimon obviously became a very popular show. Were you surprised at the fan reaction and how popular it became?
I'll share something with you. When it didn't really click for me, like how big it had become, until we had all done the Digimon movie and were invited onto the Fox lot where they were recording The Simpsons. And I was going, "Oh my God, I am just like, you know, enthralled with the simple fact that we were actually going onto a studio lot to watch like the opening, you know, movie for Digimon." And it was just like, at that particular point in time, it just kind of hit me, and it's like, wow, like this thing is like not small potatoes. This thing is like kind of huge.
And now it's actually kind of funny that you mentioned earlier about 30s and 40s characters, because when I was doing my research, I actually found a page, and hopefully it's you. Hopefully the internet didn't lead me astray, where you do like impersonations of Boris Karloff and Mrs. Doubtfire and things like that, and that actually really surprised me.
Wow, where'd you find that?
I found that on, I think it was voice123.com, and then I found it under your
Oh my
name.
gosh. Yeah, totally. Yep, that's me.
Well, awesome. I guess my stalking skills are getting better every day. I mean, for impersonations, is that something you just try and do in your spare time when you're, or maybe when you're watching the movie, and then that helps you in the real world, or is that just something you're like, I really like that actor, I want to sound just like him?
A little bit of both. I mean, part of it was just me being enveloped in a bunch of those old movies because my dad grew up watching that stuff. So I kind of watched that stuff too when I would, you know, watch movies with him. And they were just fun. They were just like, wow, that's a cool, interesting kind of voice. And then to my advantage, you know, because I'm able to, I have such a good ear in being able to listen to the way people speak and the patterns and what they do, that it actually helped me. Well, technically speaking, I did win a role over in a movie that came out a few years ago, because one of the guys that I just intonally sound like already, and it's just a matter of me, you know, changing up a few words here and there, and um, becoming a little more nasal, and but you know, it's like, and then when you have a little bit of a lisp in there and a little bit of gravel, then it's, you know, it's like um, not too hard to sound like Christian Slater. And so what I did was, when he was doing a movie called Wind Talkers, um, I figured, hey, you know, that's a great opportunity for me to try out what I already know how to do and just see if I can get away with it. So I called up the studio where they were doing post-production on that particular movie, and I knew that Christian Slater was not in the United States because he was already working on another film.
Mhm.
And so I called up the post producer on it and said, you know, hi, my name is Derek Stephen Prince. I don't know if you can tell, but you know, I often do a lot of voice matching for Christian Slater. Lie, lie, lie. I've never done a voice match for Christian Slater in my life, but I didn't let them know that. You know, and I said, and you know, I know that you guys are probably getting ready to wrap up post on Wind Talkers. Just wanted to let you know that I'm available. If you need somebody to come into the studio and, you know, maybe you know, add a couple things, because I knew, you know, I don't know how much of the post you actually need, but just want to let you know who I am and give you my phone number if you need anything. And it was awesome because I actually, from the sound from the post producer on that very same day, he actually forwarded me to the assistant director. And then I was working directly with the assistant director just on the phone. As far as, she said, "This is great. We actually need you because there's going to be some stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks that we're probably going to need you for, because Christian's, off on another country doing whatever he's doing, and we have to get this wrapped up so that we can go ahead and release it when it's ready for release." So like 2 days before I was supposed to go in there, and I hadn't heard from her because I don't know why, because things get busy. And so I just decided to give her a call. And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I lost your phone number. I didn't know where you were. Actually, as it turns out, we don't need you. Christian was able to come back for a couple of days, and he was able to do it." And so that kind of ruined it for me.
Oh, I was gonna say you sly dog, but you didn't actually actually get it in the end.
But I mean, at least it proves, like in the real world, like all the tools that I have in my possession, all the things that I'm able to do, the things that I can hear, and then be able to, replicate those and actually put them to hopefully some good use, came in handy. It didn't actually book me the job where I actually went in and recorded and was paid for it, but I mean, I was able to convince the assistant director and the post sound editor that I was the guy who did all the voices for Christian Slater. So
Well, I would think, being able to listen to voices like that would help you with a lot of, younger male voices and like teenage voices and things like that. Since, well, obviously you're not a teenager anymore.
no, I wish. Boy, I wouldn't give to be a teenager again.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I left my teens recently and I'm still sad about it.
It is a little depressing, isn't it?
And so
But at
we
least
can,
I can still sound like a teenager. So
that's
that's
true.
good.
That's
Yeah,
true. And
right.
so we can be a little bit depressed. We're gonna go to a short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but don't go anywhere and keep it tuned to your favorite
All
station.
right.
Hey, come out and play!
I can't! I'm listening to Nut!
But there's Portable Nut!
What?
Yeah, it's a nut you can listen to outside!
You can listen to Nut outside?
918 The Fan. It's like a nut you can listen to outside.
Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. We're still here with our special guest, who hopefully we've gotten all of our sobbing done because we're older now. But that's okay. We're kids at heart, aren't we?
Yes, we are kids at heart.
Definitely. And
Fairy
so
tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. That's what I've been told.
now I want to watch that movie. Curses! I have a shift to do. I can't watch that movie. But we were kind of talking a little bit behind the scenes, and I want the listeners to be able to keep track of all the wonderful things that you're doing with your career. Could you tell us any projects that you're working on, whether it's animation or video games or commercial or whatever it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously, for whenever it happens to go back on the air, or it may not have ever gone off the air. I don't know because I don't really watch it anymore. But on Cartoon Network, Naruto, I'm still playing Shino Aburame, and on Bleach, of course, Uryu Ishida. So those two are still ongoing. Recently, there are a couple of video games that I'm really, really, really excited about. Both of them are due out in 2012, if I'm understanding correctly.
So you
One
can't
of
talk
them,
about them.
well, I can't really talk about them, but I can say that based on me reading comic books when I was a kid, it is totally exciting for me.
Ooh.
And that's all I can say about it.
Understandable. We love those wonderful NDAs. They're our favorite.
Yeah. And did I mention that I only read Marvel comic books? I don't know if I did or not, but
Well, I
there you
like that. I like knowing that. Thank you for that tip there. And is there anything else coming along the pipeline?
Yes, there is. I believe it will be in February. I'm not sure if it will be on Cartoon Network or not, because I'm not sure who picked it up. But it is an anime series. I'm not in the entire series. I'm only in a couple of episodes, but it is a very intense couple of episodes. And the most that I can allude to or hint to is that it does deal with a type of Japanese game that you play where you have to do a little bit of role playing in it. And without giving too much away, I'll be able to obviously share more information when I'm given the ability to do that. But I mean, I hate even saying this, but I think that this character is more awesome and more evil and more powerful than Vexen, if that's even possible.
Ooh, exciting. Very exciting. So you've
Yeah.
been keeping busy.
Huh?
So you've been keeping busy.
I have been keeping slightly busy. I will admit, I'm I have a feeling that I'm becoming a little bit of a dinosaur as it relates to voiceovers, only because I'm making myself not as known. I mean, people call me up and they ask me to do stuff, and I think that's awesome. But I've kind of pushed myself out of the marketplace for a little while, just due to a lot of different personal things that are going on, family and jobs, and obviously the ability to be able to make money and pay bills and pay your mortgage is, on the top of my list. And, quite frankly, if I was just going to do voiceovers all the time, I would not, I'd probably be, like in foreclosure right now.
Well, the economy isn't where it should be, and I believe you're in Los Angeles. I could be wrong, but that's an expensive city.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm in
So,
Nevada, and I mean, we're still a big city, but it's nowhere near as expensive as California is.
well, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Nevada is actually a state, so you're actually a lot bigger than Los Angeles.
Well, Las Vegas, Nevada. I apologize. Las
Oh,
Vegas
okay.
is the
Well, there
only
you go.
place to be.
Right. Las Vegas. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And now for the fans out there who want to keep updated with anything that you're doing and want to find out about these projects when they come out, is there any Facebook, profiles that you have out there for the public, or Twitter, anything like that?
I do have a Facebook profile. I think it's Dubbing Prince, or the Dubbing Prince. I can't remember. It's one or the other. But all one word, DUBBINGPRINCE. I think you can probably find me on there. That's where I post most of the stuff that I'm doing nowadays. I don't have a website. IMDb updates when they update, so you might be able to find some stuff out on there, but that'll probably be after the fact of when it's already been released for a couple months. So, other than that, I think that's about it.
Well, I'm curious, since we're nearing the end of our time together, if you'd be willing to
Yeah.
participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
What is this tradition?
We basically ask everyone at the end of the interview if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
A radio bump.
Yes.
Okay, sure, yeah.
We're basically wondering if you could say, my name is, you insert your name, I do this. You can say you're an actor, you can say you're a specific character, whatever you want to put there. You can get creative. And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
91.8 The Fan.
Yes, 91.8 The Fan. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody out there. My name is Jackson. Although you probably know me as Derek Stephen Prince, and yes, I am a voiceover actor. And you're listening to 91.8 FM. The Fan.
Now I hate to be a total jerk, but since we're on Skype for whatever reason, that line came out really crackly, and we got the laughter, and that was about it. That was
Oh,
smooth.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. Let me see really quick if we can smooth
I'll do
that
it again.
out really quick. I just want to make sure that you're smooth again because we're on computers, so it depends how quickly it's sending the data. So sometimes it'll get
Understood.
crackly and sometimes it won't. So hopefully if I stop everything,
Okay.
it'll go back to being all nice and crisp again. All right, so I think we're good to go. I apologize making you do that twice.
No, no, that's cool. I'm fine. Yeah, sure. You just let me know when I should go.
Actually, we're ready to do so. So if, you're free to do so again.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jackson. Although you probably know me as Derek Stephen Prince, and yes, I'm a voiceover actor. Although sometimes I'm a scientist, which is like to be in my lab experiments, where we don't have enough time. But let me tell you that you are tuned in to 91.8, The Fan, and have a pleasant day.
So much better. Awesome. Thank you so much. And now, is
You're
there
welcome.
anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
If you're cute and single, stay cute and single. That's all.
That's good advice, though. That's
There you go.
awesome advice. I love that. And thank you so much for this. This was a lot of fun.